Trump has never had an issue telling you who he hates.
I hate Taylor Swift, the former president posted in all caps.
But he hates more than just celebrities and politicians. He also hates Muslims.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
And Jewish people.
If you're Jewish, if you vote for a Democrat, you're a fool.
And minorities of all types.
I didn't know she was black until a number of years ago when she happened to turn black. Is she Indian or is she black?
Look at my African American over here. Look at him.
He hates union workers and government employees. He hates his own former staff, even his former vice president.
We're saying hang Mike
because
Pence.
it's common sense, John. It's common sense.
There's only one person Donald Trump loves, himself. And if he becomes president, he will waste no time showing you that he hates you too.
Dick, we never got along.
Correct.
You were a warmonger.
And you were a commie.
Surprising to be on the same side as you.
Surprising to me, too.
I'm still on the left.
I'm still on the right.
But if we can agree on Trump,
it means something big.
Bigger than policy.
Bigger than ideology.
We are both voting for Kamala Harris.
Because this election is a choice between America
or Trump.
Loyalty matters, Donald, and no one is more loyal than Laura Loomer. You won the debate that Laura Loomer prepped you for.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
She made you proud at the 9/11 memorial. She was your good luck charm. She raced to your side when you were in danger. Smarter than Chris and Susie, and even Corey. She knows best what MAGA wants for you. Totally loyal, totally yours. All yours, in any way you like. And that's why they're trying to get rid of her. They're jealous. Haters.
I'm not involved in their conversations, so I can't weigh in on that. And I would encourage anyone else that matches her statements to stop.
They're trying to stop her, which means they're trying to stop you. She's more loyal, and she loves you. They want you to ignore her, Donald. And she won't be ignored.
There's an old saying, it takes a village. Every great step this nation took in its history, from civil rights to women's rights, they required community, partnership, the village. But in every village, there's the same risk. The village idiot. And the one thing you never do is let the village idiot call the shots. We did it once. We can't do it again. This November, vote. Your village depends on it.
And has become a friend of mine, Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson. Martin Luther King on steroids. You are Dr. Martin Luther King on steroids. That's how good you are. Martin Luther King ×2.
That you would portray a black man just because he's in the GOP as a Klansman.
And been as detrimental in the black community as a stick of dynamite chucked from the Ku Klux Klan.
We have to cherish Mark. He's a star. You have to cherish him.
Called to be led by men, not DeVita, David. I absolutely want to go back to the America where women couldn't vote.
You're a very popular guy, Mark.
There's no reason anybody anywhere in America should be telling any child about transgenderism, homosexuality, any of that filth. If there's a movement in this country that is demonic and that is full of the spirit of Antichrist, it is the transgender movement.
The next governor of North Carolina, Mark Robinson.
Taylor Swift isn't the first successful woman Donald Trump has attacked. She's just the most recent.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers. I'd say, Rosie, you're fired.
Trump has a problem with women. disrespectful,
Must be a pretty picture you drop into.
insulting,
Ivana does exactly as I tell her to do.
even violence.
Ivana Trump once used the term rape to describe a sexual encounter with Trump.
It's ugly.
I'm not thinking, Mr.
That's
President.
okay. I know you're not thinking. You never do.
I'm sorry?
It's cruel.
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle? There has to be some form of punishment. For the woman? Yeah.
And one thing he's proven is that he'll never change.
I could do this all day long. You're going up the escalator? I'm going to be dating her in 10 years.
Would you want your son to treat women like Trump does?
Hey, when you're a star, you can do anything. Grab him by the...
Is this how you would want a man to treat your daughter?
Blood coming out of her, wherever.
You know the answer. You know the truth. He says he hates Taylor.
I was not a Taylor Swift fan.
But the truth is, he hates all of us.
John McCain, a war hero, 5.5 years as a POW.
He launched his campaign mocking a war hero.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured.
He refused to lay a wreath honoring the Americans killed in World War I, calling them suckers and losers.
I always wanted to get the Purple Heart. This was much easier.
Trump attacked the husband of Nikki Haley, who was deployed overseas serving his country.
What happened to her husband? Where is he?
Trump attacked the sacred Congressional Medal of Honor.
They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead.
Now this draft dodger holds campaign photo ops on the sacred ground of Arlington. When told it was against the rules, his campaign thugs pushed aside the Arlington Cemetery official.
An ANC employee was pushed aside.
This election is about patriotism. Will you support a man who attacks our military and holds photo ops at Arlington Cemetery? We know who Donald Trump is. The question is, who are we?
All my husband and I wanted was to have children. 5 years, all of our savings. Not to mention, I was a human pincushion with all the hormone shots. Each round made me crazy. The ultrasounds, the blood tests. But finally, we got 5 viable embryos. Richard was over the moon. Me too.
They outlawed IVF, and they're seizing our embryos. All because they can't trust us to preserve human life. I can't believe it. I'm at the Mexican border. We ran out of gas. The dry ice is melting.
Alina Habba, senior advisor to the Trump campaign, but let's be honest, I also care a lot about my fit check.
Trump is well prepared for the debate tomorrow night. That is right. He doesn't need traditional debate prep.
Donald Trump is probably the greatest political debater we've ever had in American history.
Do I think that she will be able to rattle him in any way? No, I would argue right now the chance is 0.001%.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
President Trump he'd talk to a pet store if you'd let him.
They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Do I think he will be respectful? I do.
All I can say is I read where she was not black, that she put out.
Last night was a big success for President Trump. He was able to highlight his record of success in his first term with the failures of the last 4 years of Kamala Harris.
Yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I admire President Trump for not debating her again.
20,000 migrants, primarily from Haiti, have been dropped into Springfield, Ohio.
Congratulating Kamala for the debate is stolen valor. You should be congratulating David Muir and Lindsey Davis, who did the heavy lifting, and so calling that a debate is disinformation.
Then you have Kamala's claim that she worked at McDonald's. She never worked at McDonald's. It's a lie. She doesn't work at McDonald's. She said she worked at McDonald's, right? She said she stood over those French fries when they were being fried. She worked at McDonald's and she was working so hard.
2 miracles now in 2 months.
Wow. Somebody's looking out for the former president.
That's exactly what the speaker told him. This is a divine intervention here for a higher cause.
They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
Somewhere there's a girl. She could be 6, she could be 13, she could be 18 and ready to venture into the world. Somewhere there's a girl who keeps hearing that her rights aren't important, that her future is in the kitchen, who's told she's not good enough, strong enough, brave enough, smart enough, tough enough. Somewhere there's a girl who sees this woman ready to be America's first female president, who sees her standing up to hate, to bullies.
Kamala, you don't have to say it. Kamala. Kamala.
And to people who would set every American woman back decades.
Ours is a fight for freedom. The freedom of a woman to make decisions about her own body and not have her government telling her what to do.
Why does Kamala do it? Because somewhere there's a girl.
The President of the United States is more than a chief executive, more than a commander-in-chief. The American presidency has been called a wager on human character, a bet that the Oval Office would represent the best of the American character. It's not about party or ideology. It's about character. Kamala Harris is the American dream. The daughter of immigrants, she earned our trust with hard work and getting the job done. A prosecutor, attorney general, United States senator, vice president. Toughness, grace under pressure, respect for others, a humility, and good humor. That's leadership.
The true measure of the leader is the leader who actually understands the strength is not in beating people down, it's in lifting people up. I intend to be that president.
A president we can be proud of. Kamala Harris.
I'll never forget that feeling, waking up that November day in 2016 and learning that Donald Trump would be the next president of the United States. I remember the overwhelming grief. I remember the women's marches across the country. I didn't know that on that November day that he would be responsible for the death of more than 1 million Americans through the mismanagement of a pandemic. I didn't imagine on that morning that he would incite so much hate and division in this nation that white nationalists would proudly march in the streets and his followers would try to overthrow my government. I couldn't know he would appoint Supreme Court justices who would end my rights to my own healthcare decisions, thus ensuring my daughters have less rights than their grandmothers had. I didn't know what he was capable of on that day, but I know now.
We trust women to make decisions about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
Vote. Your values, your country, your future. Your rights are on the ballot.
Vice President Harris was clearly well prepared, practiced on the offensive much of the night. Former President Trump did take a lot of the bait that she threw out.
She did so well, and Trump did so poorly that they want to do that all over again.
I can't get behind somebody who maybe I agree with certain policies on, but their character is atrocious and lacks complete leadership.
She conveyed the calm. She conveyed a preparation.
Vice President Harris clearly won the debate in terms of her delivery, her polish, and her preparation.
The moment of the debate, if there was one, I think, was when she baited him on the rallies.
People saw, oh, actually, she's an intelligent, capable person who has a point of view on issues, and she demonstrated that time and again.
She was composed. She was prepared. She kept her cool. She saw advantages. She took them.
Donald Trump looked old tonight.
Yeah. This is the difference between someone who's well prepared and someone who's unprepared. Whoever did debate prep for Donald Trump should be fired.
Truly a difficult night.
America's national security, a president's first job, to protect our nation from all enemies, foreign and domestic. In a dangerous world, Kamala Harris has sworn to do just that. Her commitment is clear.
I I will never waver in defense of America's security and ideals, because in the enduring struggle between democracy and tyranny, I know where I stand and I know where the United States belongs. I will ensure America always has the strongest, most lethal fighting force in the world.
And to uphold America's solemn promise to honor our veterans.
And I will fulfill our sacred obligation to care for our troops and their families, and I will always honor and never disparage their service and their sacrifice.
Kamala Harris for president, for a stronger, safer America.
My generation dreams about what everybody dreams about: starting a family, owning a home, building a life with stability, and having hard work pay off. People ask why we're not married, why we're not having kids, why we don't own a home. It's because no matter how hard we work, big banks, big tech, big insurance companies find a way to screw us. They raise their prices and get bailed out when they screw up. We're not asking for a handout or a bailout. We just want the chance to make it. Have someone in our corner who fights for us. Someone who gives a damn, who will take on the people gouging us and win. And that someone is Kamala Harris.
I will fight to give money back to working and middle-class Americans.
In this election, we're not just choosing a candidate. We're choosing a future.
The circle of life eventually closes on all things. For Impetus Americanus, the time for prowling will soon be at an end. It was to be his final hunt. His prey, older, weaker, unable to fight back. The best kind, or so he thought. But Impetus Americanus made a mistake. He is slow, he is lost. His imagined strengths are but weaknesses. And he's alone. His mate, his cubs, already eyeing new, greener lands. His pack is flimsy and overmatched. His lieutenants are weak and timid. The decades creak in his bones. The humiliations fester in every fold of soft, bloated skin. And as he rambles and wanders among the fields, no longer on the trail, he reeks of fear. He's afraid of the conflict, of what comes next. He starts to realize it is not his last hunt. Impetus Americanus is the hunted. He is the prey. The apex predator is approaching, preparing to devour him. It is Mother Nature's design that the circle of life eventually closes on all things. For Impetus Americanus, that circle is nearly complete.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it.
Our Project 2025 has developed a comprehensive policy agenda, but even more importantly, recruiting people, 20,000 people to go into the next administration, hopefully to help take back this country for you and for your audiences. We want no credit. We want the American people, if President Trump is elected again, President Trump and his administration, to take credit for that. But it will also be a great sign, if all of this is successful, that in fact, as we know in our prayer time, but maybe not every time when we're watching the news, that the Lord is still smiling upon America.
I can't believe we're having this conversation again. So here we go. You know who the candidates are. You know what's at stake. One candidate promises a divided America filled with lies and hate. And one stands for change. Kamala Harris has more courage, more honor, more guts than this guy ever had. So you decide, are we really going back down that same fucking broken road, or are we moving forward towards hope, towards freedom, towards change?
We know a strong middle class has always been critical to America's success.
There's promise that lies in change, and the time for change is now. So what the hell are you waiting for? Because if it's the woman thing, it's time to get over that. It's time for hope, for change. It's time to be a man and vote for a woman.